Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here and you clicked on this video because of the title, don't worry, I'm going to address that in just a little bit, but welcome. My name is Pompberry, and today, because it is almost Earth Day, I'm going to be talking about sustainability within the makeup industry while I turn myself into a fairy. It is a very hard subject to tackle. It is something I've been wanting to talk about for a really long time here on the channel, but it's not necessarily a sensitive subject, it's just a difficult subject to tackle well. So today I'll mainly be focusing on ways that we can change certain habits and aspects of our makeup consumption so that we have a smaller negative impact on the environment. Before I get into it, I just want to take a quick second to thank Moda for sponsoring a part of this video. I really appreciate them wanting to work with me, especially when it's to spread the message of something that I feel really strongly about. I am very passionate about sustainability, and so I'm really thankful for this opportunity. I will talk a little bit more about Moda once I get into the makeup, but before I begin, please don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. So to start off, I'm going to be turning myself green with the Wet n Wild green color corrector. I'm just going to put this all over my face. I just want a very sort of light green tone, but let's get into why we're really here. Let's talk about sustainability and, more importantly, why the makeup industry is a big problem. The reason why I said this subject is a really hard one to tackle is because I know that I'm part of the problem. I know that makeup artists are a part of the problem. I know that makeup consumers are a part of the problem. There's no real way of winning in this scenario, right? Because as long as you're producing and consuming products, you're going to be affecting the environment. There's no way around it. But there are things that we can do in our day-to-day lives. There are habits that we can change that will diminish our negative impact. And that's kind of what I want to touch on today. There are some more quote-unquote obvious things that we all know about. Like, for example, makeup wipes are super bad for the environment. That one is something that I'd say most of us know. There's some other things, though, that aren't as obvious. Like, for example, mirrors and magnets in eyeshadow palettes make the palette not be able to be recycled. Another hot topic is glitter, hence the title of this video. Now, there is a quote-unquote selective outrage against non-biodegradable glitter. And I'm just gonna say it right now, yes, glitter is a problem, okay? Glitter is a problem. I'm not here to say that it's not. What I am here to say, however, is that a lot of people have a sort of blind outrage when it comes to glitter, but they're not worried about things like how the glitter is packaged. As long as it's bio glitter, they don't care how it's packaged, they don't care how it's shipped, they don't care that it might be packed in a ton of plastic to get shipped out to the stores. They don't care about anything else as long as it's bio glitter. Now, to me, I see that as a much bigger problem because people aren't looking at the big picture. So while yes, using bio glitter is better than using non-bio glitter, okay? Let's just establish that. I think the bigger problem is how are the products you're using, how are they packaged? How are you going to dispose of that package? These things cause a much bigger impact to our environment. And because I know that because of my job, I am part of the problem and I generate waste that involves cosmetic packaging, which isn't waste that is normally recycled in regular recycling plants, which is a big issue, I try to worry about how I'm going to dispose of that waste. So it's really easy to sit here and say, like, you should only buy packages that don't have mirrors, that don't have magnets. But realistically, we know that's not going to happen, right? There's very few people that commit to actually buying like completely eco-friendly packaging. And there are some companies that are dedicated to eco-friendly products. So it is possible, don't get me wrong, it is possible. But I'm aware that because of my line of work, I have to use a variety of different products that don't always have the most eco-friendly packaging. And because of that, I try to be super aware of how I'm going to dispose of that packaging. The easiest thing that you can do is reuse something if it's easily reusable. So say you have a little container of glitter, and then once you run out of the glitter, you can use this for other things. You can use this for your moisturizer when you travel, for example. You can find ways to reuse packaging. That's the easiest thing that you can do. But not necessarily all packaging is reusable. So the next best thing is obviously recycling. And as I said, not all recycling plants accept cosmetic packaging. It's apparently harder to recycle things like pumps and the spray nozzles. So most recycling companies will accept the bottle, but they won't necessarily accept the top or the pump. And that's where companies like TerraCycle come in, where they do specialized recycling for products that aren't usually recycled in regular plants. And that's also where Modabrush comes in. Today I'm going to be using their Renew brushes. These are their earth-friendly brushes. Their handles are biodegradable and they're made using a sustainable plant-based polymer material. First of all, can all brushes be made with this, or just all plastic be made with this, please and thank you. That would be amazing. But also, Modabrush partnered up with TerraCycle to create a brush recycling program, which is pretty unique. I don't think I've seen this done anywhere else. But basically, you can send them your old brushes that are falling apart and you don't know what to do with them. You can send it to them and they will handle the recycling for you, which is amazing. This kit does come in a plastic outer packaging, but it is recyclable plastic. And inside, I'm going to show you what you get. You get a cotton canvas brush pouch to carry your brushes in. This is super handy for traveling or if you're on the go. And in this kit, you get 4 brushes that are pretty versatile and you can use them for a number of things. You get a small detail brush that's great for applying eyeshadow to the crease. You get a fluffy shader brush, which is great for packing on eyeshadow onto the lid, and you get a contour and a buffer brush. These are both great for using blush, powder, bronzer, whatever it is. These are great face brushes. This one especially is great for contour because of the tapered shape. And if you're not new to the channel, you know that I've worked with Moda before. You know that I use their brushes constantly. I love the quality of their brushes. And if you're interested in getting this set or any other set on their website, you can use my discount code pompberry for a discount on your order. So thank you, Moda, for sending me this Renew kit and for sponsoring this part of the video. Okay, I'm just going to make sure that I have no creases so I can powder around my eyes real quick, because I crease very easily. My base isn't super even, but I'm going to even it out further with some eyeshadow, so I'm not too worried about it. I'm going to start highlighting the high points of my face using the Nomad Tokyo palette, and I'm going to be using the color Kakigori, and I'm just going to concentrate that on the high points of the face. Ooh, it looks a little bit blue compared to the base, but I think it'll be okay. And I'm going to switch over to Sugar Pills Taco to continue the highlighting. So I've touched on recycling. I touched on a little bit of reusing, and another way that we can reuse our mascara wands, for example, is by donating them to wildlife centers. Some of them accept clean mascara wands to help with brushing out the animals that they save. They use it to clean the animals' furs and feathers, and donating your old mascara wands is a great way to not only help the environment, but also help animals as well. So, okay, I've touched on recycling, I've touched on reusing. Now I want to touch on reducing. So as we all know, the 3 R's: reducing, reusing, recycling. You always have to think about them when you're thinking about how to dispose of your waste. So in terms of reducing waste, there's a few habits that we can change in our day-to-day life that can greatly help the impact that we make on the environment. As I mentioned at the start of this video, wipes and anything that's one use only is horrible for the environment. So let me get into that while I contour using Sugar Pills Midori. And not using single-use disposables is something that we can easily do in our day-to-day lives. I know that, for example, as a professional makeup artist, I have to use disposables on set. And because of that, because my job causes me to create waste, I try to balance out that impact in my personal life. I try to not use single-use products as much as I can. So I never use makeup wipes to take off my makeup. I always remove my makeup using a double cleansing process, which is an oil cleanser first and then my regular cleanser, and that removes all of my makeup without having to use a wipe. Another thing that I incorporated into my makeup removal routine was a makeup eraser. If you don't know them, they produce microfiber towels that they basically substitute makeup wipes or cotton or any disposables that you would use while removing your makeup. Another thing that I try to reduce the use of is Q-tips for removing any sort of mistake that I've done. Instead of using a Q-tip, you can take an angled brush or any brush that you you would like, dip it into some makeup remover, and then use that to fix up your mistakes. This is a technique that is used by a lot of professional makeup artists because it will actually give you a better cleanup than traditional Q-tips. And that is a sustainable way of fixing your mistakes, and you will be more precise with whatever you're removing. So that's a great little trick that I like to use, especially when fixing up eyeliner. Another thing is, I know a lot of people use tape to really get that sharp cat eye effect. Instead of using tape, you can take a business card or a credit card or anything like that and use that instead, so that way you're not wasting tape. Another way to reduce the amount of packaging that you're consuming and buying is by, instead of buying a full palette, if you only like a few colors from that palette, not necessarily the entire palette, you can choose to buy refills instead. So for example, even this eyeshadow that I'm using, you could either buy the eyeshadow like this in its plastic container, or you could buy the single pans that don't come in a plastic container and you can pop them into a magnetic palette. I always get the single pan refills when possible. I much prefer having something that isn't adding to the amount of packaging that I have and am therefore going to have to dispose of one day. But if you're really set on buying pre-made palettes, there are companies that are dedicated to making fully recyclable packaging, like Ether Beauty, for example. All their palettes don't have mirrors, don't have magnets, and are made of paper. So there are definitely some companies out there that are doing their part, but I know that that's not the general case. It's something that you typically have to go looking for and do the research yourself. And so because of that, services like TerraCycle exist so that you can recycle the more quote-unquote wasteful packaging. Another idea that's becoming more and more popular is, before you buy that new palette that just came out that you're just dying to have, shop your stash. What does that mean? Go into your makeup collection, look at what you have, look at everything that you have, and see if you don't already have similar products and similar colors that you can use to create a similar effect to that of the one that you're just dying to buy. So if you look on Instagram, you can look up the hashtag shop my stash or shop your stash, and you'll definitely see that it's I don't know if you could call it a movement, but it's definitely something that people are doing for sustainability. And because most of us never actually go through all of our makeup, it's really rare to hit pan on something, because especially for me, I have so much product that I'm using something different each day. So for me to hit pan on something, it's very hard. But that's also why I rarely purchase makeup. I do get sent a lot of PR, but I personally don't go out and buy makeup because I know that I already have so much, and I'm at a point where I can create pretty much any look that I want with the products that I have. I only buy products that are truly, truly unique or very specific to a look. And I know that sometimes we don't use what we have because we can't see it. So if something's deep in a drawer and you never look at it, you even forget that it's there, that won't help you finish up the products that you already have. So what I like to do is, for example, here in my corner, let me move the camera and kind of break the illusion to show you what my corner looks like. I have all my lipsticks here displayed on my wall. That way I can see all of them and I know exactly what colors I own. I know exactly what I have. And this way I end up using more colors that I wouldn't necessarily reach for if they were buried in a drawer, for example. Now I'm going to change the tone of the contouring a little bit with the Creepy Cute palette from Shroud Cosmetics. I'm going to take the color Take a Hint. And Shroud actually now offers these colors in single pans. So if you don't want to buy the full palette, you can buy the single colors. So to organize your makeup like how I did here on my wall, I have a combination of different things. I took nail polish shelves and used them for my lipsticks. I also have a couple of racks from Shadow Racks, which is a company that designs racks specifically for putting your makeup on your wall. And they created those with the purpose of exactly what I said, making your makeup accessible so that you're more likely to to use what you already own instead of rushing out to buy whatever's new. I'm also going to take the color Strawberry Milk from the Creepy Cute palette and start doing some blush. I'm going to concentrate it around my nose and make this area really, really blushy. Oh, another thing I just remembered, going back to the single-use items, something that we can change. Instead of using paper towels, for example, for cleaning your brushes or anything like that, I like to use little washcloths, and I clean my brushes with them and then just throw them in the wash when I'm done. I use these to clean up my work area as well. I avoid using paper towels when possible. And another thing that you can do, instead of buying washcloths, you can take old shirts and cut them up and use that instead. I actually use that for cleaning rags around the house. I take my husband's old undershirts and cut them up when they're looking really dingy, and I use them as rags for cleaning the house. I know before I was talking about how looking at the big picture is more important than being selectively outraged. I do think that selective outrage is important as well. It's important to start a conversation, and worrying about even a little bit is better than not worrying at all. It's like when people say that even eating one vegan meal a week is better than not eating any vegan meals a week for the environment, etc. It's the same in this case. Change at least one tiny thing, be it not using glitter anymore and just using bio glitter. That's already a huge deal. Or maybe you're somewhere where you don't have access to bio glitter. You can change other things in your day-to-day life to balance that out. Doing something is better than doing nothing. And that is true about anything. Recently, I've been doing yoga and I've been more flexible than I've ever been in my life. And I only do yoga 10 minutes in the morning and sometimes 10 minutes at night. So even just 10 minutes a day, that's better than 0 minutes. And I've already seen a difference. I've already seen an improvement in my flexibility. And that's the same about anything. But when it comes to the environment and waste and stuff, it is a difficult conversation to have, because I do realize that companies create way more waste than a single consumer will ever. Factories will always generate way more waste than the average consumer. That's just the reality of it. But the reality also is that we can't really do anything to change what the factories do, but we can change what we do. And yes, the title of my video was clickbaity, but it was for a reason. I think this is a discussion that has to be had. People need to talk about this more often, and I know that people are starting to, and it's great, but it's definitely something that needs to be talked about even more. So for this video, I just kind of wanted to open up this discussion and get it started, and it's definitely something that I can't get to the bottom of in like 20-30 minutes. It's something that is much bigger and much greater than just one single YouTube video. But I wanted to put these ideas out there for you guys about the small changes that we can do every day, because I think it is important and it's something that I'm very passionate about, especially because I do realize that my career choice is something that does generate a lot of waste. And now my second career choice, if you don't know, I'm learning how to tattoo, and that's also another career choice that deals with disposable items, and lots of them, and rightfully so, because it's a health issue, it's a health thing, and you have to use lots of disposables. But yeah, it's something that I struggle with a lot, knowing that the two things that I do for a living, or that I want to do, generate a lot of waste. Probably a lot more than, say, someone who works in an office. So it's something that I think about often, like how can I offset the amount of waste that I create in my professional life? And I'm also curious about you guys, if you have made any changes in your makeup consumption or anything like that to be a little bit more eco-friendly. I would love to hear from you, so please let me know down below if you have any more suggestions of things that we can do to be a little more eco-friendly. And before I filmed this video, I actually did a live stream on Twitch where I kind of touched on the subject of this video. And whenever I start talking about it, I kind of just go off on rants and you cannot shut me up. Like I literally could talk about this for hours. But one tangent that I went off on is silicone products. So some of you have commented before on my videos asking about that reusable Q-tip. Now, I've never used it. I've seen it online though, and I know that it's a Q-tip that's made of silicone. So it's something that you can wash and reuse over and over again. And they have one that's specifically for makeup. It's got like a little sharp edge so that you can clean up your eyeliner and things like that. But I also kind of have an issue with silicone products. They do claim that they are eco-friendly and they aren't single use and you can reuse them over and over and over again. And while yes, all that is true, the other problem with that is that because it's silicone, it's something that will exist forever. Silicone cannot be melted, it cannot be destroyed. It's just something that exists. Once it's made, and that's it. You can't destroy it. So when I think about the things that I consume, I don't only think about the amount of waste that I'm producing, I also try to think about how long that waste is going to exist in the world. I'm not worried about just what I consume while I'm here on the planet, right here, right now. I'm also worried about things that will continue existing after I'm long gone. And that's something that kind of keeps me up at night because a lot of our quote unquote eco-friendly solutions to things involve creating something that will outlive us. It's not like it's made from something natural and biodegradable. It's something that, yes, it can be reused a ton of times, and so it will reduce the amount of waste that you create, but also it's there, it exists on the planet. So it's something that is also another discussion that I think should be had, although that doesn't really pertain to makeup, so I'm not going to go off on that tangent just yet. But you know, sometimes implementing change is difficult and not everyone has access to things that are more eco-friendly, and I totally get that. But that's why it's important for us to start a discussion on our level so that hopefully it will reach the big corporations and change will be made on their level as well. But anyway, not gonna go on that tangent. I'm just going to turn my nose into a button nose. Who's surprised? Not me. Oh, and I think I didn't even explain why I'm turning myself into a fairy. It's just because of Earth Day. I thought, you know, fairies are of the earth, so I'm doing that, you know, because why not? Haven't turned myself green in a while, so I figured I would. Figured it would be fun. And I'm deepening my blush with the Clown Blush palette from Likely Makeup. And I'm creating this highlight and shadow around the inner corner of my eye, how I did in my video a couple weeks ago. And I said I wanted to incorporate this technique in more of my looks. So I figured today would be a good day to try it. Kind of reminding myself of a frog though, not necessarily a fairy. I don't know the direction I'm going with this, but it's a fairy, okay? Now I'm gonna go ahead and do my eyebrows. I'm gonna use the Melt Fortuna gel liner. It's this dark green and I think it matches the wig really well. So yeah, I thought I would go on much more of a rant during this video, but I haven't, which is maybe a good thing. But I'm really interested to know your guys' opinions. Should I create maybe more videos speaking on this subject? Because there's definitely other things that worry me that don't get talked about often. Like for example, wigs. Wigs are plastic. They're basically like brushes for your head. And I don't think they can be recycled. Although if you can recycle brushes, I imagine that there's a way of recycling wigs as well. Like, I don't know. That's something that I would be super interested to talk to someone about. Like, that's the type of stuff that I think about all the time. I feel super guilty buying and owning wigs because they're made of plastic. And that's something that no one really talks about and no one really addresses. And obviously if you're buying human hair wigs, then they're not plastic. But then there's the whole other issue of, is the hair that you're buying ethically sourced? So, you know, that's just the type of thing that keeps me up at night. And I realize that it's like hypocritical of me to sit here and kind of lecture you on being eco-friendly when I obviously partake in all of this. But because of that, it's something that I would love to be more well informed on. It's something that I would like to discuss with people and actually talk to people who are knowledgeable about this and can maybe give more insight in areas where I can't because I just don't have that knowledge. Like, for example, with recycling. I know that it varies greatly depending on where you're recycling your waste. I've heard from a lot of places that you have to wash whatever you're recycling, so you can't just like throw a to-go container with food waste still in it. You have to completely wash it to throw it in the recycling. But I don't know if that's the case with all the recycling plants. I don't know if that's the case everywhere in the world. I would love to be more informed about that. And I know that, for example, the brush recycling, you do need to send clean brushes in, which, that's fine. That seems like a reasonable thing. But I know that for the makeup recycling for TerraCycle, you don't have to completely clean the component out. You just have to get as much product out as you can. But yeah, I would love to learn more about these things because I feel like we're really kind of far removed from our waste. It's something that a lot of people don't stop to think about. It's something that you just throw in the bin or throw in the dumpster and it comes and gets picked up for you, and then you don't think about it ever again. And I feel like that's where a lot of our problems stem from, the fact that we're so far removed from the waste disposal process. We don't really think about where our trash goes or what happens to it. And it's easy to not care about something if you don't have to deal with it, But anyway, that's a whole other tangent. I'm telling you, there's so many tangents that I could go on, and there's so many aspects to this topic that it makes it really hard to tackle. And I even question myself if I should make this video. But ultimately, I think yes, especially in an industry that's just based off of consumerism. We're not the only industry that's like that. The fashion industry is also a huge problem when it comes to the environment. But thankfully, there are companies that are recycling fabric now and using scraps and things. Like even big companies like H&M, they'll take old clothing from you to recycle, and there's incentives, like you get a discount on your next purchase. And I forgot, actually, the brush recycling program, you also get a discount off your next purchase with Moda. So that's awesome that companies do that sort of thing. I do think it's great that companies do provide an incentive, because although it is incentivizing more consumption, ultimately I think people are more inclined to do something if it benefits them directly. So I think it's important to have incentives for something like recycling. Okay, I had a little snack break, but now I'm back. I'm going to take the Shroud Cosmetics Arcana palette, and I'm going to use this color right here, Alchemy. It is the yummiest dark green. And I think I'm going to keep my eyes green. It's going to be a pretty monochromatic look, and I want to go for a purple lip is what I'm thinking for this. Ooh, this actually goes on a lot darker than I thought it would. But I'm just going to use this to intensify my crease and whatnot. So what else? Another thing when tackling a subject like this is that you can't leave out other aspects of being a conscientious consumer. And that includes cruelty to animals and cruelty to humans. I feel like what usually gets talked about is vegan products and cruelty-free products. And that is definitely a discussion that needs to be had. And we have seen great strides in that field. A lot of companies are switching over to cruelty-free, which is freaking amazing. But now that that change is happening, I feel like our focus now needs to be on environmentally friendly options and on human cruelty. We're really focused on animal cruelty, but there's a lot in the world of human cruelty that doesn't really get talked about. The mining for mica being one of the main things that isn't really regulated, and mica is something that's used in absolutely everything, in every single eyeshadow and every product. And the mica mining industry, a lot of kids get forced into labor and it's really unsafe labor conditions. And that's definitely a whole other tangent, but I feel like it's important that we touch on these subjects because it's never just one thing, you know? It's never just one thing that's the problem, which is honestly kind of overwhelming. Even if you try to be a really conscientious consumer, there's always something, you know? It feels like you can never win, right? But as I said before, even doing the slightest bit, even doing a little bit is better than not doing anything. So even just discussing it, even just, you know, bringing up these issues a little bit, hopefully if one by one we bring up these issues, it will cause change at an industrial level. And that's just really what we can hope for, you know? But anyway, now I'm going to blend that out with this eyeshadow, also from Shroud. This color is called Magnetism. I'm gonna take that on a slightly fluffier brush. And I don't really know where I'm going with this look. I just know that I want to kind of change my eye shape a little bit. So I'm kind of leaving a gap between the top and bottom, and I'm going to extend my waterline outwards with the white. I want to change my features so that it's more fairy-like. I don't even know what that means. And I actually have done a green fairy look before, but it was ages ago, but I haven't done one since, so I figured why not for Earth Day. I think for my lid I'm gonna take the Melt Vida palette and I'm gonna use the color Sarape, and it's a really yellow tone green, so it's like totally the opposite of what I've been using, but I think it'll be a nice contrast on the lid. I don't know if I need to put like a base down. Maybe I should, because this one is metallic, but it feels a little bit drier than their normal metallics, but the pigmentation's coming out, so I might use it on a brush. Actually, I'll use the Moda shader brush to really pack it on. So yeah, I think I've talked about everything that I needed to talk about. Maybe I'll remember something, I don't know. And I think I might actually take papel picado around the edges, and that'll make it a little bit more yellow toned as well. So yeah, I think now I might just revert to my usual makeup tutorial. I don't know, I think I might just feel overwhelmed talking about something like this because it is such a massive issue and I've wanted to for so long. I feel like I should have been better prepared. I don't know. But yeah, I think that's kind of everything that I wanted to cover on the subject for now anyway. So I'm just going to keep turning myself into a little fairy. And now I actually will use some bio glitter. It all comes back around. These two, I think I might use both of them. They are also from Shroud. This green shift one is called Retrograde and this gold shift one is called Balefire. So I think I want to go in with Retrograde directly on my lid. So let's do that first. I'm going to take the BH Cosmetics Base Booster and I'm just going to apply that just kind of at the center of my lids. It's where I want to concentrate the glitter. Then I'm going to dip that brush into the glitter and just pat it on. Ooh. It doesn't have any color to it, it's just the reflect. So it just gives you that nice bit of reflection when you tilt your head. Then same thing on the other side. Then for the inner corner, I'm going to take the Kaleidos Laser Glazer highlighter. It is their green shift highlighter. It is absolutely gorgeous. And I'm going to use that as a base under the glitter. I just want to have some shimmer there to start with. I want to really pack that on there. And I'm also going to apply that to my brow bone. Oh, that is so pretty. I have used this highlighter as a regular highlighter and it's so gorgeous. You wouldn't think that a green highlighter would work, but it totally does. Then once that's done, I'm going to take the Balefire Bio Glitter. And I'm not going to spill it all over my desk how I almost did with the previous one. I'm going to apply that glitter base to the inner corner, then grab a little bit of Balefire and just press that on. And oh my god, it gives the prettiest, it's kind of orange. It's like a goldish orange shift. It's really gorgeous. That really brightens up the inner corner. And that makes me actually want to darken this right here. So I'm just going to use a little bit of purple to do that. I really want to like get in there and really accentuate this right here. I'm actually going to go in with my little teeny tiny pencil brush to do that, so I can get right in there. It kind of makes me look like I have bags under my eyes, like, but that's the idea. It's something that's really used in drawings. Like, I know that I shade my drawings like this. I really like to darken this part right here, but it's also really pretty at the same time. It's hard to explain it. I'm also going to take that purple and just contour my nose a tiny bit more. Just a smidge, just a touch. Oh, and I can't forget Freckles. Obviously, you know me. I'm going to take the same liner that I used for my eyebrows, and I'm going to take it on a liner brush, and I'm going to start doing little freckles. I've diluted it with a little bit of alcohol. I don't want it to be so dark. I want it to be more translucent a little bit. I'm gonna concentrate them, I think, on my cheeks, close to the eyes. They are gonna creep onto the nose. Once that's done, I want to go ahead and apply some highlighter. I'm gonna use that same one that I used in my inner corner, but I'm gonna go right over the freckles, and this will help to tone them down a little bit and make them seem a little bit more a part of the skin, if that makes sense. But I'm just gonna go right over them. Oh, that's so pretty. Like, that is ridiculously pretty. I'm also going to use that on the bridge of my nose. Even though I have pink on my nose, I'm still going to do a green highlight because why not? Cupid's bow, chin, and I'm bringing it up and kind of around onto my cheeks. But I don't want to lose the pink, so I'm just going to go and dust that lightly. Oops, that was a little too much of the dark pink. I'm going to go in with the lighter pink. Tone that down just a smidge. And before I finish up the eyes, I want to do the lips. I kind of want to establish the color there to see if I can add more color to the eyes or what. And I'm going to use the Melt liquid lipstick in the color Mariachi. And this is a super, super vibrant purple. I'm excited. I don't think I've used this before. Ooh, that is purple. It matches my scarf pretty well. And it smells really good too. I'm going to take that on a little brush so that I can be more precise with the shape. I don't want it on my teeth. And I think I'm going to do the edges a little bit blurred. Definitely going to overdraw my top lip. I'm leaving the edges diffused and with less product, and then I'm concentrating more in the center. And then I want to take a little bit of Midori, which was my contouring color, and I want to shade the outer corners. That just makes the lips seem a little bit more pouty, and under the bottom lip as well. A little bit in my Cupid's bow. I actually kind of want to intensify the contour around my face. So it's going to intensify that around my chin and on the sides of my face as well. After seeing all the colors together, it makes it easier to see what you need to adjust, you know, because the lips are really strong. So then that kind of diminishes the contours a little bit, so you can go a little bit more heavy-handed with them. Since I'm here tinkering and modifying things, I think I want to take the Melt Radioactive palette. I know I'm using a lot of Melt, but they've just got really nice greens. And I'm going to go in with Meltdown. And I'm going to use that on my bottom lash line. Oh, that's really deep. It matches the color of the freckles really well, but I just want to kind of really define where that white line is gonna go. It's gonna extend outward, so I'm not gonna use this past that point. And then just using it close to my bottom lash line just to really define the lash line. Then I'm also going to use that on the outer corner right above, leaving that little gap still and blending that upwards. And I might even go in with Xenon right here on the outer portion to blend that out. I don't think I've used this many greens on my eyes before. Although I have done some fully green looks, like with Cruella de Vil and Buttercup. Now I'm just going to quickly line my top lash line using the House Labs eyeliner. And I'm going to go for a more straight cat eye. I've just really been liking this shape on me. Now for my bottom lash line, I'm going to take the NYX Jumbo Pencil in the color Milk. It is the white one, and I'm going to apply that on my lash line. And then I'm going to extend it outwards, but I'm going to go in with a liquid liner to really perfect that. I just want to start that edge there. And I'm also bringing it under my lashes right at the outer corner so that I really get that extension of the waterline. Now I'm going to take my white liquid liner from NYX and I'm going to extend that line under the cat eye that I created. And this is a shape that I've never done on myself before, but my friend Cece did it on me once when we filmed together, and it just creates a really interesting eye shape. And now I'm just gonna take a black eyeshadow and I'm just gonna go real close under that line that I just created because I'm going to be applying some false lashes all the way over here to really give that idea of a different eye shape. And I've actually been contemplating this whole time, should I add purple to my bottom lash line? And I'm tempted to add this one right here. It's Soulstone from Shroud, and I'm gonna run that on my bottom lash line. I feel like the eyes need a touch of purple. Since there's purple going on the rest of the face, I want to add a touch of purple here too. I've been contemplating this the entire time. I suppose this could be a little kind of alien look. I don't know. It could be a number of things. But I'm going to put flowers on my head, so it's going to be a fairy. I wish that I had fairy wings. I don't. I only have angel wings. And I'm really extending this eyeshadow outwards. I feel like it creates a really weird and cool shape to accentuate the bottom lash line more than the top lash line. Okay, I'm just adding a little bit more blush to my chin. And then all I need to do is my lashes. And that's it, I think. So I'm gonna do my lashes off camera and I'll be back to show you the finished look. And this is the final look. On my top lash line, I added the Black Moon Cosmetics Cancer lashes. And on the bottom, I added like 3 different cut up lashes. I just made sure to add the longer ones on the outer corner. And then I added some little flowers in my hair because it's a fairy. You need flowers and leaves and things. Otherwise, it would be like a little alien or something. And that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed the discussion that I tried to start today. If it's something that you would like me to expand on and talk more about in other videos, please let me know. And like I said, please let me know what you've done to be more eco-friendly in regards to your makeup. I would love to hear some suggestions on things that maybe I could change to lessen my waste and impact on the earth. Forgot to fix the bangs. I don't even know. These bangs are like super weird. They're super choppy. I don't remember if I cut them like this or if they came like this. I probably cut them like this, but anyway. I don't typically do like hard-hitting subjects here on the channel, but that type of discussion is stuff that I really enjoy talking about in real life. So it kind of feels great to finally talk about them here on the channel. And I would love for you to join in the discussion. Let's continue this down below in the comments. And I hope you enjoyed this little fairy look. I don't know what to call her. If you guys have a name for this fairy, leave it down below as well. I almost feel like drawing this character or something. I don't know. It's just... Also ignore my non-green hands. But that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you once again to Moda for sponsoring this video. Thank you so much to all my patrons who support me, and I'll see you next time. Bye.